Real estate, the market is recovering for the first time maybe after a decade. In fact, in 2022, real estate is a big theme to watch out for in the stock markets. But I'm sure if you're a buyer, seller, tenant, landlord, landlady, you've also seen the up move in prices. So it should only be natural that we would start to see startups mushroom around this hot space. One of them now is Gruhas. It's a Proptech and it's being started by Nikhil Kamath of Zerodha along with Abhijeet Pai. They both are joining us live right here on ET now. Thanks, guys, for joining us here. Nikhil, I'll come to you first. What people taking cash out from the markets, buying properties, so you sensed an opportunity?
No, I don't think it is that. I think it's more that we have never had any involvement in real estate.
I'm joking.
I know. Yeah, but it's interesting. Yeah, so it's a new thing for us. A lot to learn from Abhijeet, who's more of an expert in this domain. So interesting days.
If I may add, this asset class is also becoming more fintech
So
in nature.
Abhijeet,
So this asset class is becoming more fintech in nature. So there's an opportunity now to see how we can make real estate and Proptech a fintech Proptech, right? So democratize real estate, make it more on the lines of fintech and have retail participation.
Nikhil, how are you going to do that? Like, how is this going to be different from, let's say, MagicBricks and 99 acres, a square yards?
So, Nayatara, I think Abhijeet should take most of the questions because I think he has a lot more knowledge than I. Abhi, you want to answer that?
Yeah, sure. So Nayatara, I think at our end, what we're trying to do is actually empower the ecosystem, right? We see a lot of gaps. A 99 acres or a MagicBricks is really trying to source opportunities on the retail side, but is not helping democratize in my mind. And what we're doing is we're trying to invest into companies that democratize and give you a partial or a fractional opportunity to invest into real estate, which are creating in nature. So say, imagine, there is a very high-end leased property in Mumbai BKC that you want to participate in. As part of REITs, you would never have that opportunity. But with us, we have the opportunity of going in there and investing in such assets, very, very specific, and get retail participation. That is one of the themes that we've backed. It's a startup called Strata. At Gruhas, what we're trying to do is back startups that are actually making disruptive impact in the real estate domain. So one of them is fractionalization. The second is the low-cost housing finance. There's a lot of finance companies, there's a lot of NBFCs, but the problem of low-cost housing or the problem at the bottom of the pyramid still remains. So we're using tech, to disrupt that and bring all of these people who are looking at home loans into a tech platform which can then help them get home loans, right? So our intention at Gruhas Proptech is to invest into new age materials, anything disruptive in terms of creating retail participation and debt instruments through which we can, create an Indian version of the new age property platform.
Because I hear a lot of catchphrases here, which are very, very popular. But Abhijeet, so I want to get down to it. You said, we need to think of Proptech as fintech as well. So let's take it one by one. First up, what is it going to be? Are you going to be like an aggregator of home loans where people can go out and check, what works best for them, which is offering the better return for them, a better rate for them, etc.?
Sure. So we're actually a platform, right? So we're one level above that. So what we're trying to do is Nikhil and I have got together, which we're building 3 funds under Gruhas, one aimed at debt, one aimed at Proptech, one aimed at new materials, all for the real estate ecosystem. When we entered, we wanted to only be in fractional ownership, but we realized that is only one piece of the puzzle, right? And you can't just solve one piece. And there's in India, with the youth that we have, the quantum of homes that we're going to have built and the disparity in terms of income, right? We see a huge opportunity at different points. So in the last 6 months since we've started, we've backed 8 companies, 8 startups, and 1 debt fund as of today. We're in the final phase of negotiating a Proptech focused $150 million fund. So we become a platform to invest into people and ideas that are out there to disrupt and focused on Proptech real estate. My personal belief is, the 80s saw special situations, where the Blackstones of the world came up, right? I think special situations meant that they could get into real estate and grow very large portfolios. I think it's going to be a bit different in the 2020s and the 2030s, where technology will play that, catalyst. And who better than Nikhil to, help us with technology and retail, right? So that is how Nikhil and I got together. And since we haven't looked back, right? So we've invested in water tech, we've invested in, and when I say water tech in buildings, right? Where the startup that we've invested in has, say, 4 billion liters of water in a matter of less than 1.5 years. And this is just the start, right? So there's so much impact out there. I think as consumers also, right? Today, we want to buy green homes, right? But is India really working towards that? Is there a brand which can actually put a stamp and say that these guys are really the guys who think impact? And that's what I think Nikhil and our vision is that. And Nikhil, maybe you want to talk about the ESG thought process and the green initiative that we feel like are working towards.
Nikhil, what I would like to ask you is why you entered Proptech. I get it that the market is going to pick up. We will need housing as we see new job creation take place. We're really reading about those attrition rates as well in IT and all of that. I want to understand why you decided to get into Proptech. I'm asking you this because, you look at the move advantage you have in equities. Look at the hedge fund that you and your brother run through Beacon. So I want to get a sense from you why Proptech. We also only have one Proptech unicorn so far in India, which is, of course, no broker.
Yeah, sure. So, we've always grown up around real estate people and watched them in our circle. And we've always looked at the space that it hasn't really changed drastically in the last decade or two. Real estate in many ways operates in the manner that it did many years ago. So is there room for disruption there? We thought there might be. With this company, it's more, Abhijeet leading it and us trying to learn more about real estate and trying to figure out how the ecosystem works. And for us, I think it was logical to enter something which was more prop tech than traditional real estate, and hence we're doing it. But essentially, Nayatara, this is a big learning experience for me where I get to learn about another sector and another industry and how things work there.
Okay, so you're going to be learning about a new industry, and you're seeing the two partners here together, hoping to disrupt it, whether it is for the retail investors who want to get into property, whether it's by loans, whether it is also for debt financing for builders. And as you also heard about building materials, so that's of course been a buzzword. We've been hearing about going green, cutting down carbon credits, and we have started to see startups mushroom around that, and especially sustainability. So it's still early days yet. These folks have so far got a portfolio of 8 companies, and here's wishing you all the best, and we look forward to having you back once you make more investments and you can share with us whether you indeed have disrupted the space or not.
Look forward, Nayatara. Thank you.